episode 67 of Talking Small Press Comics with Steve Keeter and myself.
Darn good-looking guy.
Oh, you noticed that under Steve's name? I don't know. We don't know how that got there, but it is there.
I have no clue.
Yeah, we have no idea how that could get there.
This is another good-looking guy. That's always backwards. This guy has a nice beard, so very debonair. Yeah, he's very distinguished looking. Not like me. I look like darn-looking guy, but kind of scrummish.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any comics?
We do have some comics, yeah.
Oh, good.
Comics in the mail.
Otherwise, we're just going to sit here and stare at each other.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, did you get the one yet from Clark Dismeyer? Did you get that one? This one? No? Clark, you need to send this to Larned. If you already did, I'm sorry he hasn't got it yet, but this is pretty funny. It's really hilarious. Mushy the dog, and I love the...
Mushy the dog is a mushroom.
Not Mushy the dog. I'm getting Watusi and Mushy mixed. I got Watusi over here too. Hi, Dale. Mushy's not a dog. Mushy is a mushroom.
Mushroom.
And there's Nebula and all kinds of stuff. This is wild and wacky. And Larned hasn't seen it yet, but I'll tell you one thing. I do recommend it. So
okay.
Make sure Larned gets his copy.
If I don't get it, then at least I got a plug. All right.
So maybe we have to start with this one from Fanzine 2 from Mixtape, it says.
Very different.
Yeah, from Tom
Fellrath. Tom Fellrath is different because it's actually, he calls it a mixtape, and it's about a bunch of different bands. There's the Smiths, and then there's Smiths. Has a band on it, New Order.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know New Order. I don't think I know the Smiths.
Both of those sound kind of familiar to me, but I didn't know this. I didn't know this, but Tom says that he was a disc jockey at the WVFI-AM, Notre Dame's closed-circuit college radio station. This would have been back in the late 80s and early 90s. Mm-hmm. So he played a lot of cutting-edge music, and he says this issue is his mixtape. It's an incomplete, curated list of favorite music, along with a little explanation. So he's talking about bands that he knew of, that he heard back in those days on that college radio station, which is kind of cool. If you're on a college radio station, you can play whatever you want.
Yeah.
And people think it's really cool. Yeah, so he's got a very well produced
I think I heard Sean Mullins
showing some of the bands that inspired him.
Huh? What?
This one is a New Order. Can you hear me okay? I have to lean into this mic.
Well, you've got the thing in front of your face. There you go. I was saying Sean Mullins, I know him. That's one guy. Anyway.
Oh, you know that one?
He just reviews the music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of cool. And it's, let me see here. I think I had a note on the price of this. I don't have it in front of me. I have lost the note.
Oh, I got a note from him too. What do I do with it?
Here it is. Fanzine 2 is $4 post-paid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, and he has also a YouTube show where he and he reviews these I cannot talk. Maybe you could talk.
I know how it is. It's that time of day. He does have a show
Yeah.
on YouTube. I think it's called Fandom as well. I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's Fanzine.
Fanzine or Fandom. I'm sorry. We've got off to this is a really shaky start, but we're going to get there. I can promise you we're going to get.
Yeah, sometimes
I saw this. The chicks.
Yeah.
And this was interesting to me because these used to be, I hope you can hear me, trying to work out the thing with the microphone. These were the Dixie Chicks. Remember the Dixie Chicks?
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, they decided that it was not politically correct to call themselves the Dixie Chicks. So they just changed their name to the Chicks. And apparently they're still making music. They still look good.
Nobody I was ever interested in.
Beautiful and talented lady. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, because it raised a few eyebrows when they dropped the Dixie part.
Yeah.
I think people in the South were like, I'm a little offended by that. Why did you drop that? But they figured it wasn't politically correct. These days, everybody's trying to please everybody else, and not many people are sticking to their guns. It is getting better, but folks, do stick to your guns. Stick to your principles. And nonetheless, if they're making great music, that's what matters.
Yeah.
We have something about REM.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a little different because a lot of the bands he's talking about here, Tom is discussing bands that maybe most of us haven't heard of, but REM were actually commercially successful, and they really.
I've heard of REM, but not lately. Are they still together? I don't hear anything from REM lately.
I think they're still together.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't know.
I don't keep up much with music these days. I do think they're still together.
And then Green Day, I know Green Day.
Yeah, Green Day. Mm-hmm. And I think their lead singer died recently, didn't he?
Is that right? I don't know.
I think so. He said, I listen to radio at work. I don't listen to radio as a rule. So, I hear something on the radio at work and, I go like, well, that's cool or that's sad. Somebody passed away. But the thing is, all these bands that made music 50 and 70 years ago, I mean, way back, are still being played on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
That's what matters, Yeah. They have that lasting impact. David Byrne and Talking Heads, of course.
Yeah. Never hear of them anymore either.
Tom lists, well, they broke a long time ago, but Tom is listing a lot of bands there, or alternative bands essentially, that are interesting to him.
Pretty cool. Pretty good idea. I like that. Pretty good idea.
And I never heard of this guy, David Bauerwald.
I don't know who that is. I don't know. It looks like he plays guitar, though.
Yeah. I got to cut down the volume a little bit because I'm getting a little echo here, I think.
Oh.
Anyway, that's from Tom Fellrath. And Tom is super talented. There's a guy who dropped out of small press a long time ago and came back recently, and he's just doing it better than ever now. He's doing it better than he ever did before. So we're big fans of Tom, especially now that he just put out Strange Times, number 5.
Number 5, and it's the joke issue.
Yeah.
So it's filled with the contributors all did their favorite jokes, or close to their favorite.
Yeah, and my issue came with a bookmark.
Yeah,
it's a United UFO bookmark.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put that into your comics, whether they're UFO books or not.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It's got that UFO symbol in there, that all-inspiring UFO symbol. There it is.
Yeah. Now, like I say, this is my best joke issue.
A terrific cover by Alan Freeman.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
old pal Alan Freeman.
And a back cover by duct tape right here. That's all the people that contributed to the book.
Oh, that's right. I see a lot of good people. I see Nick Durga and Matt Levin and a lot of other great folks.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
I'm in there too.
You're in there, Larned. I think you're in there a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm in there twice. Yeah, I did
Matt
one
Gazelle.
for Jason DeGroot, and then I did one for myself.
Yeah, Dale Martin, Alan Groening, John Muller, Chuck Bunker,
Jason.
Larry Blake.
Yeah, Larry Blake was able to get in there. This is the one I did for Jason DeGroot.
Uh-huh. My best job.
I'm not going to give it away, but you'll have to buy the book to read it.
That's my best
This
joke.
book, in order to get it, I'll have this in the description, but you have to go to a website to get this. And don't think he's telling me the price here. He doesn't say. I'm
still looking for your story here, but I know it's everything is my best joke.
I got this one. This is not actually a joke, but it's lyrics to a song. That one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and I did see that. And I started a joke, started the whole world crying, and that's an old Bee Gees song. That's actually pre-disco.
Oh yes, yeah, before the disco.
And that's some really nice artwork there. So it's not, I mean, that was early days of Bee Gees. And I had some of those albums before the Bee Gees ever became famous, before they ever went disco. I had some of those, so I appreciate you paying tribute to those. I wish I could get the lighting better in here. But it looks like Noah's Ark. I think we got Noah's Ark here. And and a very
started a joke.
I like the inks on this one. That's
John Mueller's work in here.
John Mueller, he's in there. Tom Fellrath and John Mueller, John Mueller, here he is.
Yeah. He is so good. Yeah.
And because these are supposed to be jokes, we have to read part of the jokes.
Yeah, I know, but you see, if we read the joke, then we screw up the book.
To give away a punchline. We can read part of the joke. And the beaver said, "Oh, I had that tree for breakfast. Hee hee hee, ha 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 ha."
See, that's why you don't want to read the joke.
What did the farmer say when he lost his tractor? The problem is that gives away the punchline.
Exactly.
The funny thing about this story is the punchline isn't really a punchline. I'm not going to tell you anymore, but that's the funny thing about it. But if you're not laughing yet, it's because you haven't read the story. And we got
Keith Rogers. He did all photographs with word balloons. I don't know.
Keith Rogers, yeah.
So you got a lot of different stuff in here.
Yeah, I got to take this out. Also inside the issue, there's a Phoenix Publications catalog, summer 2024 catalog. It shows you some of what Tom is doing. And guess what? Tom is doing a lot. And he's got descriptions of all the comics and zines that he's publishing. Can you believe how much this guy is publishing?
He's a busy guy.
Yeah, really. He's really knocking out a lot of stuff. So there's the previous issue of Strange Times right there, with a Larned Justin cover. I can see it from here. Larned did that extremely expressive cover.
Yeah.
And just a lot of stuff. I mean, Tom is on a roll.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's got all kinds of stuff going. Plus, like I say, his his YouTube show is almost weekly. I think it's four days a week for sure. So.
Yeah, I can't keep up, so I'm a little behind, Tom. I'm sorry I haven't been commenting, but I am a little behind. Yes, I have been busy.
At least. So.
Now, you were talking about that story by Keith Rogers. And every single story has the same name. It's My Best Joke.
Yeah.
Keith Rogers.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because.
It's photographs, yeah.
Yeah, it's all photographs.
That he put word balloons with. That's a good idea. I like that.
He's talking to a dog. And he says, "You can call me Keith." And the dog says, "Yeah, whatever." He says, "Amigo, it's not about the names of the people. I don't remember names." He says, "Okay, faces." "Oh, no, amigo, my vision is not so good. It's all about the smell of things." So the dog recognizes him. I will give this one away because it's kind of funny. He says, he recognizes him by smell, not by taste. And he says, "You, amigo, you smell like Gorilla Glue, and Little Debbie's snack cakes." Well, I guess there's worse things you could smell like. Gorilla Glue.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Gorilla Glue.
I like Little Debbie's. That can't be too bad.
We got some artwork by Alan Groening. We like his artwork a lot. Alan Groening.
Mm-hmm.
I got to work on the lighting in this room. I'm not totally happy with it, but I am happy with this particular book. And there is some artwork from Larry Johnson and Larry Blake from 1974.
Wow.
So I think we got some artwork here.
Had that for a while.
It's hard to tell who did what. It could be that Larry Johnson did the pencils and Larry Blake did the inks. That's what it looks like.
It doesn't look like, hard to tell if that's Larry Johnson. It doesn't look like his artwork.
Yeah, or maybe Larry Johnson. Maybe Larry Johnson wrote the jokes and then Larry Blake did the artwork.
Yeah, that might be. I don't know. Doesn't say, does it?
Copyright Larry Johnson. I'm not sure. It doesn't really say.
Okay.
From 1974's Laugh Book. I mean, Larry Blake's art, his inks are so distinctive. His inks are so distinctive, but even if Larry Johnson did draw it, the inks are, they're very pronounced. And, it would be hard to tell. It's cartoony artwork. And well done.
Yep.
What did the vampire say to his victim? Fangs a lot.
So you got to be ready for some of these.
Yeah. We got a couple of people get pulled over in a car, and the driver is a dog. And the lady says, "But officer, he has a license."
That's true. You can't argue with that. The dog does have a license.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because it's 1974, it makes it a little harder.
Yeah.
Essentially, it looks like Larry Blake artwork, but I think it's Larry Johnson, inked by Larry Blake. The way they signed it is LJ/LB, so I think that's what it is.
Okay. Anyway, it's nice. Very good work for 1974. Holy mackerel.
And we have a couple like this. Matt Fiesel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the one about the dinosaur? Did you hear the one about the dinosaur asleep in the swamp? No. And it says, "Great to be here." Is that what it says?
You're reading it wrong. You're not to read a comic book.
The picture's backwards. The picture's backwards. "Great to be here. Great cloud, I love you. Aha. Did you hear the one about the dinosaur asleep in the swamp? No. He was a Brontosaurus.
Oh,
You got it?
yeah, got it.
There it is. It's hard to read this this backwards like this. A Brontosaurus.
Okay.
What did the tree say to the twig? Hiya, bud. That's Jim Mackey and Matt Fizel. So there's a bunch of people involved in this. Jason DeGroot and Larned Justin also have something in here.
Mm-hmm. That was written by Jason, and it was a true story. His grandfather said he wasn't a very funny guy, but he did tell one joke there.
Okay. Got some nice artwork by Larned Justin.
Yep,
and the punchline is funny that the cow ends up on his back laughing, and everybody's laughing.
Yeah, they're all laughing about that. Very funny. But
nice artwork
you
there.
gotta buy a book to get it. You got to buy the book to get the joke.
Nick Durga has something in here with apologies to Woody Allen, where he has a few jokes. So everybody's doing their best joke. There's Watusi, Dale Martin's Watusi. His jokes are so bad that everyone is booing him throughout the entire strip. Boo, hiss, boo.
Okay, let's move on to whatever we have next.
Oh, there's also I do also want to mention that Chuck Bunker has something in here.
Oh yeah,
Chuck Bunker has a short strip,
and
and he's an old pal, so we love Chuck Bunker. You have to see it. They're saying stuff in French, so you have to imagine that in English.
not going to work for me. All right, what do you got? Who's up next?
Well, we do have Watusi. I mentioned Watusi earlier.
I thought you might be going to Watusi.
We have a new strip by Dale Martin, a new book by Dale Martin with nice, beautiful color covers.
Here's something I find interesting on the cover. The dog and the cat are having an argument, but the Watusi sticker goes right over the top of the argument.
Oh, that's right, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is copied by the copycat. So Watusi encounters this cat. Looks
Watusi and the
like a Siamese cat. A little bit like a Siamese cat.
Yeah.
But everything he says, the cat repeats. He says, "Good morning, cat." The cat says, "Good morning, cat."
Yep. Yep. Repeats it, drives them nuts. Goes along like that quite a ways here through the book.
Yeah, it goes on and on.
Yeah. Yep. It just drives Watusi nuts. I mean, the cat is driving them crazy.
Yeah, I'm switching ahead a couple of pages. And he says, "What do you think you're doing?" Where are we? Right up here. "What do you think you're doing?" So the cat says, I think it's over here, "What do you think you're doing?"
Yeah.
So it goes on along like that, and it's driving Watusi crazy.
Yep.
And he's being followed.
The cat, it's just very sad, but the cat, after doing that all that time, I guess I'm going to give it away, but the cat falls in the manhole, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's pretty funny. He does fall in, and Watusi says, "Say goodbye, cat." And so the cat goes down in the manhole, goodbye, and then Watusi laughs because he's gotten rid of the cat. So he walks away laughing. And a couple of panels later, you'll see Hey, 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 the cat responds.
We
So,
also have Bad Joke Funnies, which is in here.
and more Watusi.
And,
Dale Martin
yeah,
is
it's all on Tuesday. And the old guy here, this was one of his famous characters. The old guy there. He draws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He appears in a couple of other stories.
And here's Dale Martin himself, right on the back, right there, where my finger is Dale Martin. That's him with Watusi. See that? That's
Yep,
Dale.
there he is. Meet real comic creators like this guy. Hey, Watusi, Dale's bringing lots of his comics, including those starring me. So Watusi is promoting Comic-Con.
Yeah, Comic-Con.
On Saturday, May 18th.
Is that in? Well, Dale lives in Tennessee.
I don't know which Comic-Con this is. But,
I don't know. It's got to be in Tennessee. Dale lives in Tennessee.
It's I mean a library, Benjamin L. Hooks Central Library, 3030 Poplar. Don't miss out. So
now this book is $2 on the cover, but postpaid is $3. Postpaid $3 from Dale.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have his information in the description. And Dale was nice enough. We have a little form to fill out, and he filled it out, so I have all the information for. I'll put it in the description of the comic.
Dale is totally a star in this book. I mean, his style, his style of cartooning. Nobody else is quite like Dale, and nobody else is quite like Watusi. So,
Right.
This is something we really enjoyed.
Yeah. You know, Dale and I went to space together one year. We drove together. Yep.
I think you mentioned that somewhere along the line.
Yeah, long time ago. But we did. All right. On and onward and upward.
What do we got next? Any idea?
How about Newsome's stories?
Oh, you finally got that one.
Yes, I told you.
I didn't know you had that one. Oh, my
I told
goodness.
you I got it.
It took a little while.
Yeah, I did. The first time he sent it, it never arrived. The second time he sent it, it came in a couple of days.
Okay, Keith Newsome. Keith Newsome.
Yes.
I met him at
stories are not
last year.
any stories you've ever seen or read before. They are completely different. I can't give you the endings of them because it will ruin it, but the endings of his stories are completely different than you will expect. I can tell you that. And the artwork is really cool.
Yeah, Keith is a terrific artist. I mean,
very cool artwork.
He's a terrific artist. Some of this stuff is like Twilight Zone stuff. It's like Twilight Zone stuff. There's
very much.
There's some strange stuff with, strange endings.
You just will not expect these endings. I can't get over the way he's very clever with his endings.
That's a nice panel there.
You don't expect what happens.
Yeah.
For sure.
And in fact, there's one book here.
This is 64 pages. 64 and I disappeared. Pages. And you disappeared.
There's one story with no artwork at all.
Yeah, just word balloons on that one.
Yeah, just word balloons.
Just word balloons.
Yeah, the thing is, when Larned and I, when we were at Space last year, and Dale came over, Keith came over to our table, and he gave us both a bunch of zines. Mm-hmm. But he didn't give us the same ones. He gave us different ones. There were certain issues that Larned got, certain issues that I got, and but all of these books are together in this one volume. Yeah. And it's quite a great book. It's quite a wonderful collection of stories.
Just cool.
Yeah. There's just so much stuff in here.
Yeah.
Some of it's very moody. Some of it's very emotional.
Yeah.
And you know,
he's good.
But it all is indicative of very talented.
Very talented. I can't emphasize enough the
artist and
story
writer.
endings are. All I can say is you will not expect it.
Yeah. Very atmospheric.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, thanks, Keith, for sending this. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
He's got on the back, he's got an ad for more of his titles coming.
And we're definitely looking forward to those.
Yeah. So,
Keith is an interesting guy. You know, he plays bass guitar, and he goes back a ways. He was in a rock band years ago. And, you can see pictures of him. He shows pictures of himself, like on his Facebook. You can see pictures of him, and he was young and he was thin, and he was playing that bass. And he also posts videos occasionally of himself playing that bass guitar, and you go like, "Wow, this guy's really good. How come he's not like world famous?" I mean, he should be. Not only is he a great musician, but he's a great artist and writer. So.
And this is $10 for 64 pages. $10.
And definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Worth every penny of that. That's for darn sure.
That's a cool one. Okay.
Now we're coming up to it. We got Yeet is coming up. You know that, right?
Yes, Yeet.
We have two issues of Yeet.
Yeah, we each have 2 issues.
These are the most recent two.
Number 59 and 60. 59 is the blue one, and 60 is the red one.
Now, the front cover for number 59 features Madam Justice and the Red Ram. And here they are.
Oh, yeah, the Red Ram.
Really nice in full color. The artwork is by, and I never would have guessed how to pronounce his name, but art and story, it looks like Wirus Stick. But if you look below that in parentheses,
Rustic.
I think he's showing the actual pronunciation, which is
Rustic, right?
rustic. Rustic or rustic. Lettering by Shane Luttrell. Shane Luttrell has a lot in the next, in these couple of issues of Yeet. You see a lot from Shane Luttrell.
He wrote this.
I'm a terrible letterer, so when I see someone like Shane doing such a bang-up job on the lettering.
I'm sorry, he did not write it. He did the lettering.
Did the lettering, right.
Yeah.
But I'm very impressed.
Art did the art and story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's Madam Justice and the Red Ram. I can tell you right now that this story, let me make sure here. Well, there's a group of superheroes here.
Right, and it got a little bit confusing for me right on this page here. I don't know if it did for you or not. The Red Ram apparently gets wounded, shot, and in the next page, if you don't realize that the next page is a different superhero pops up. It's kind of tricky there. You got to pay attention. But the Red Ram.
Hiya, boys. To see me?
Red Ram gets wounded in this page over here, page over here, and the next page you see that superhero is somebody else, somebody different.
And there's a group called the Second City Sentinels.
Right, and
they show up. Yeah. At first, it's just Madam Justice and Red Ram, and they're monitoring a situation where a bunch of bad guys, have kidnapped a little kid.
Yeah.
And
they're trying to rescue.
They're waiting for the rest of the group to show up, but the rest of the group doesn't show up in time. So they decide to jump in. They want to save this kid's life because they're afraid, the bad guys are going to kill him.
And the Red Ram takes a bullet. Yep.
Yeah. So then it becomes quite an action story.
Yeah.
Quite an action story.
Then the rest of them show up right here. You can see those two. They come in, knock the daylights out of the bad guys.
That's what the good guys are supposed to do, you know.
Exactly.
They're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And then after that, we come across something, and this is interesting. For one thing, because of the detailed artwork.
Yeah.
Savior is featuring, it says Savage Blonde up here. Savage Blonde.
Savage Blonde.
But actually, she's
story and lettering by Eddie Morgan. Additional lettering by Alan Boyd.
Yeah, and she's a jungle hero. I mean, you know, she tackles, fierce giant cats, etc. in the jungle. One thing these guys might not have realized, because at the very end of the story, I was sure she also has a battle with a velociraptor.
Yeah, all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere, this dinosaur.
Yeah. We got giant cats, we got dinosaurs, and we got all kinds of menaces in the jungle here, but she is every bit as fierce or more so than these predators. So great artwork. Look at that. You know, the way things are shimmering and shining off of, I guess, almost armor-like, but it's not armor. But anyway, but the lights, the way the lighting is done there is really cool, and the shading techniques in the background. The only thing is, and I'm just going to mention this, no criticism at all, but her name is Na. Just
close to Sheena.
Right, an observation. There was a comic book character, mostly in like the 1950s, named Sheena. She's like Queen of the Jungle. Sheena, Sheena. So just be careful, like the guys with the copyright there. This doesn't look like the same character, but that's a similar name. So you never know what will happen if DC or Marvel decides to just go bonkers. You remember when Larry Blake originally published Nightshade, he heard from DC and Marvel. Yeah. And because they're, I think it was DC, that they already had a character named Nightshade, and they changed the name to Nightstar. When Tim Corrigan had a similar situation also. They're watching us. They're watching us, small press people.
But they used to be. I don't know if they still are. But
Tim Corrigan had a problem because Tim Corrigan published Tim Corrigan's superhero comics, and apparently Marvel and DC had a joint copyright on that name, so they threatened to sue him. So he had to change the name of his comics. He had to discontinue that particular title, which is kind of okay, because he came up with SPCE and began, influencing a lot of other people in reviewing comics. And, where are we now?
This is Kane. Kane story right here. And this is by Shane Luttrell, the story. Shane wrote this again. And letters. Story, letters, and art is Kent Clark.
Kent Clark.
It's Shane Luttrell's story and letters. Kent Clark art.
Kent Clark art.
There we go. Now we got it.
I still wonder if Kent Clark is his real name, or is that a pseudonym?
Well, it could be Clark Kent.
It might be
Larned
Justin. I don't know who Kent Clark is, but I do know that whenever I see a story by
art, I can tell you.
Yeah, he does some terrific artwork. You got a guy. There's a little bit of irony in this story. At the beginning, in Whiskey Hill, California, 1852, at the height of the gold rush, you see a giant bear in the room with what is that? A bull? There's a bull, a bull and a bear, and there's this little kid looking on with sadistic delight. Sadistic delight. He's apparently he loves this level of violence. He loves this sort of thing, and he grows up.
Yeah, he grows up
to be a very violent man.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Yep.
And you know, he's like
he's shooting some guys and stuff like that. Yeah, he's shooting some guys, and then toward the end, he's camped out by a cave here.
Right, and that's where the irony comes in.
Yeah.
We don't have to. You can almost see it there, but I will say that in the end, he gets his just desserts.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay to be brutal and hateful and to be a killer. In the end, one way or another, you're going to be punished for that. So I guess we just gave away the ending. What can I say? What can I say?
And then the next one just kind of starts. It doesn't have any. I mean, it just.
This one. Yeah, and this was also, I believe, written by Shane. Is it? Yeah, art by Kent Clark. A story by Shane, and it's kind of a classic noir sort of story.
Yeah.
A lot of darks.
And the artwork reflects it very nicely.
Blacks and whites.
Yeah.
There's a lot of panels on each page, too. Look at that. There's like 9 panels on each page. Mm-hmm. You don't see that very often. You used to see that in the early comics in the 1960s, the Marvel comics and stuff. You would see like Jack Kirby was doing comics back in those days with 9 and 10 and 12 panels per page. And you can't even imagine that. Somewhere along the line, everybody was doing like 4 panels a page. But yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
And, so this is Kent Clark, and he's really very, very good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This was done in 2022, and there's a mystery. The last panel is great. I don't know if I should give it away, though. I better not. Let's just say that the guys, the protagonist of the story is lying in bed thinking about life and the way his life has gone. And he's saying, oh, our minds determine our reality, don't they? But our brains are enclosed in our skulls. They only know what our senses tell him. What if our senses are lying to us? What if our eyes, our ears, our noses can't be trusted? And he says, right here, what then? What then? So all this stuff is going on.
The very last panel is very cool. I don't want to give that away.
It's a great panel, though, man. It's worth the whole book just for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
A great job by Shane and Kent.
And the next story is written by Josh Mendez. Artist is Drew Gutierrez. Colorist Chris Nixon. Letterer Amal Desai.
Amal Desai.
It may have been in color at one time. I'm not sure. This is grayscale.
Yeah, because it does say colorist, Chris Nixon.
Yeah. The fact they had a colorist must have been in color at one point.
Yeah. It has to do with a group of superheroes.
Yes, it does.
And their battle with a particularly insidious, terrible bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
With some really nice artwork in black and white or grayscale or whatever.
Yeah. It gets pretty crazy. I will say that.
Quite action-packed.
Toward the end here. And it's to be continued. We're not giving anything away. It's to be continued. So
there's some strange atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's some interesting storyline here going on.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yep.
Yeah. And that's really nice. And then towards the end,
Steve Shipley has one in here, and that one is a story by Ronald Carell and Steve Shipley. Scouts. It's about Girl Scouts.
It's a true story. It's about homeless Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts, yeah.
Who were selling Girl Scout cookies in the city. and it's actually a true story. And it's a little bit poignant, you know. That's kind of moving. That's kind of nice, and always great to see artwork from Steve Shipley.
Oh yeah. And then William Messmer Loebs.
Yeah, Bill Messmer Loebs
on the back here
has something, which is only 2 pages. And, Bill Messmer Loebs is a terrific artist. A terrific talent, terrific stories. I mean, all the way around, he's great. And he actually did this story. He did this story for DC Comics many years ago. It was 100. DC Comics asked him to submit an autobiography of his life, and he created a 130-page epic. This is only 2 pages of that. Did you catch that, Larned?
No, I did not catch that.
This is only 2 out of 130 pages.
Did they ever publish it?
At the very last moment, DC said forget it. They dropped out of it. And so if you read down at the bottom, and it says some people are trying to. Shading was done by Steve Shipley, and Scott Mullen worked on this too. But it's an autobiography of Bill Messmer Loeb's life. You know, he's a one-armed cartoonist, but has tons of talent.
Drawing of the one-armed man, right?
And so some people are coming together. They want to publish this thing, all 130 pages. Can you imagine? I mean, here's a guy with only one arm, and he's working on his epic autobiography of his life, and DC has offered him all this money and everything to publish, and then they back out at the last minute. I mean, can you imagine how that must have felt?
Terrible.
Can you imagine that? I mean, that's just wrong, man.
It's mean, yeah.
Yeah. But some people are working to get this published, and apparently it's going to be published, the entire epic, pretty soon. So we'll have to keep track of that. And well, not these 2 pages alone. You know, these 2 pages alone are quite nice.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of Joe L. Corrales on the other page here. Head on out.
It's kind of a pretend ad here for Yeet Candy.
Yeah.
So you can get your Yeet Candy. Flour. I guess it's flour. Candy, it's flour.
Yeah. Looking at it about ginger root and rhubarb. Ginger root and rhubarb Yeet Candy, presented to you by Joe L. Corrales. So,
Cost of Flour Bakery. Okay.
And the back cover features The Black Fury by Eddie Morgan and Mike Cody. The Black Fury has been in Yeet before and will appear in the next issue that we're getting ready to talk about real quick.
That's pretty close to the chest thing there. Is pretty close to the Punisher. See that? Yeah,
pretty close to the Punisher. And here he is again. If you look at Yeet number 60.
Yeah.
And this is the White Warrior, but on the inside front cover we have the Black Fury there, battling against the White Warrior.
Yeah, the Black Warrior is right there. Yep.
So, yeah. And then we get into this, which is number 60, and the episode The White Warrior by story, artwork, and lettering, Eddie Morgan. Lettering and coloring, Alan Boyd. This story primarily appears in a lot of large panels, a lot of large dynamic panels.
It's there's no panels. It's just it doesn't use panels for this.
Pretty much full pages, I guess, huh? Yeah, there are no panels. They're full page illustrations.
Yeah,
a lot of action.
Yeah, look at it. Just keeps just action.
Yeah. So, and the White Warrior is a good guy, but there are evil forces who are they worship like Nazis and stuff. They're evil, I guess, Aryan bad guy, American Nazi people. And he ends up, this guy ends up battling against, I mean, they look like clones. They're people just like him.
Yeah.
And he's battling.
Yeah, that was a little hard to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I get out of it, is that there's some evil forces that still believe in Adolf Hitler and the Nazi ideal and everything, and they're creating apparently duplicates of him. That's what it looks like. And he ends up fighting against them.
Yeah.
It is. And in the very end,
continued.
Yeah, to be continued.
Yeah.
And there he is again, the Black Fury, right at the very end. So, great artwork.
Next one is Sonar Man, created by Alex van der Tuck. I guess I wouldn't know how to say that.
Tuuk. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Story, van der Tuck, story and art. John Michael Helmer, letters. Michael Wagner, editor.
Michael Wagner.
Who drew it, though?
There's a guy I know, Michael Wagner. He's in the UFO. He's a good guy. Michael, if you're watching this, you're a good guy.
Alex that. Okay, he drew it. Yeah.
So that's a pretty nice story. He's got some interesting artwork too. We got a sonar-powered superhero here. I'll have to reread this one. It was kind of a
little tricky.
Complicated.
Little tricky to follow that.
Yeah, and it's to be continued at the end as well. But after that, we come up with Ken Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, Ken Bailey, Energy Girl, pops up and pretty much takes over the practically the entire issue after this.
Yeah, full pages like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Full page art strip. Almost. There's some multi pages too, but what happens in this is Energy Girl and what's the other lady's name? Fantastic. This is Fantastic.
Yeah, Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Rather endowed. We won't get into that, but voluptuous. But anyway, she's learning how to fly, and so, they're being instilled with these powers. They're both being given the ability to fly. Energy Girl and Fantastic. So. Sometimes I wonder, why do all the superheroes have to fly? The Thing doesn't fly. The Hulk doesn't fly, but he can sure jump really high. But it seems like the people figure, well, superheroes, they have to fly.
Well, you don't have to wait for transportation. Gets you around the book.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got to. If you're going to confront the bad guy, you got to get there quick.
Yeah.
But anyway, terrific artwork, terrific rendering by Ken Bailey, and really, really nice. There's another picture of the Black Fury and some really detailed artwork in a story written by Tom Powers. Extremely detailed artwork by Brad Linder after that.
Yeah.
The Crimson Terror.
Look at that. That's some great artwork there. Woo.
Yeah, the inking is fantastically detailed. Just fantastically detailed. And now this story, however, reminds me, it totally reminds me of Batman. Bruce Wayne.
I would say a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you have like a billionaire
yes.
hero. He's a billionaire behind the scenes, and he's a hero, and he's in touch with the police commissioner. And so that's very reminiscent of Batman.
It's very similar to a Batman story.
Yeah. I don't know that recent Batmans have had this great artwork, though. It's,
very cool artwork.
It's really cool. The inking is just incredible. You got to hand it. These guys.
You have to get from their Patreon page. You have to. I think aren't these $5, Steve? You know.
The same front, number 60.
It doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure you have to go to his Patreon page to get these.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the story.
Yeah, it's Yeet, so I think they're $5. I think Yeet is $5.
$5, but you have to go to the Patreon page. Yeah.
And we conclude this particular issue with with some more artwork by Steve. They call him the King here, somewhere right over here. Steve the King Shipley. So I've known Steve Shipley for 50 years, and he is, in fact, the King.
Yeah,
you bow down before you, Steve. You are the best.
Always good.
Yeah, so this is the Rugettes. Written by Peter Welmerink, Peter the Man Welmerink, it says. So there's a lot of heroic action in here, especially the female superheroes that are so popular these days, you know.
You like action.
Yeah, plenty of action. And it's good to see Steve Shipley, his artwork better than ever. Absolutely better than ever. If you see some of the stuff he does on Facebook, and he's submitting all kinds of illustrations in full color, and he's just, like I said, I've known him all these years, and he was around before I was. He was doing work for Comic and Chuck Robinson in like 1970. And he's just gotten better and better and better. So there he is.
Yep.
Our pal Steve.
So that's the Yeets. The Yeets. Yep. Now,
all right, we gotta. We always save the best for last. And Cranium Frenzy.
Cranium Frenzy 31. The special Sebastian Cabot issue. Now, I told Steve Willis, I've been waiting 30 years for somebody to do a Sebastian Cabot comic book. Never expected it would be Steve Willis.
Yeah.
But finally, we have it. And here it is.
Here it is.
Right here.
You watched them. What was that show? Family Affair? What was it?
Well, he was on that, I believe, and made a lot of movies and things like that. And
yeah, Family Affair.
Sebastian Action.
Used to see him on Family Affair. A very distinguished gentleman. And here he is, Steve Willis, his tribute to Sebastian Cabot.
Yeah.
So, what do we got?
Well, we have actually.
Steve is resisting the urge to be taken over by Morty. You see him beating himself in the head so that Morty cannot infiltrate his thoughts when he works on his new comic.
And now he's, Morty's upset that he's doing a Sebastian Cabot comic.
Right. Morty's not happy about that.
Steve Willis, he's going to do it anyway.
Yeah. So Morty says, so SW thinks he can keep me cooped up in this brain cell A. Well, he's got another thing coming.
Yeah.
And you see Morty trying to bust out
of the brain, yes.
his cerebral prison there.
Yeah.
To take over
the comics control room here.
Yep. So
and he gets into the control room and he starts pushing and pulling and deploying levers, you see. Now, he has no idea what he's doing, but he just kind of erased this guy here.
Well, he starts to manipulate the story.
Yeah, and he erased this guy here.
Yeah. He erases that guy.
I'm gone.
Everything's out of order. He's pushing and pulling buttons.
Yeah.
He inserts a drawing that Steve Willis did 40 years ago or something. He inserts that in there, and the panels are all in a sequence. Steve is not too happy about it. Like, what the heck is going on? Something that Morty, in fact, Steve Willis drew that picture in 1966. So yeah, long kind of. So this all just pops in the story for no reason. Morty is insidiously pulling levers.
Here, the panel requires laughter. Let me just. Do you see the panel here requiring that laughter? Well, on the next page, Steve says, a laugh track in a comic?
This one goes totally off the boards, man. This is totally nuts.
Oh, yeah, this is really crazy. Oh, yeah. So,
Steve has to get Morty out of there somehow. Morty's interfering with the comic, so he drills a hole in his head. He drills a hole in his own head to pull Morty out of it, you see. So there we go. Recalibrate. Morty busts out, and Steve has to restore the story to some sort of normalcy. Of course, this is Steve Willis comic. This, of course, is not possible. So.
Well, he drilled a hole in his head in that panel right there, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had to pull him out of there.
And if you notice, the noise that the drill makes is Buzz Bazizzink, who is a friend of Steve Willis's. Buzz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that one. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So there they go, and okay. So.
Got him out of his head, and it says recalibrate. He's bleeding a little bit there. Look at that.
I know. I saw that. Morty had to stick his finger in the hole to stop the bleeding.
Finger in the hole in his head to stop the bleeding. That was pretty much that story. Now we have Sebastian Action, take 2 over here.
You have. In Checkmate, he was Dr. Hyatt, which I didn't see. And Mr. French and Family Affair. I'm talking about Sebastian Cabot. But you have this other guy here, this other character.
Mm-hmm.
He says, this is my opportunity, and I'll grab it. 1,000 times a day, I will yell out, Sebastian Cabot.
Sebastian Cabot. Yeah.
Sebastian Cabot. And he goes on for pages.
Now, let's see what happens on the next page. Oh, I'll be darned. There's 4 panels of Sebastian Cabot yelling.
Yeah. Keeps on going, yeah.
Yeah. And it comes down.
I mean, this is not normal, folks. I mean, you have to have a particularly sort of a deranged mind, but a very funny deranged mind in order to pull this off.
Yeah,
and Steve does have that. Thank goodness. We're so glad.
Deranged mind to appreciate
it. you got to be deranged, right, to get the jokes.
To get it. Yeah.
So we're right there with you, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
We're not normal either. It's okay.
Crazy as bed bugs.
So a lot of stuff. I mean,
oh, my gosh. Yeah.
The end of it. It gets crazier and crazier.
Steve Willis comic book.
At one point, you have like 5 Sebastian Cabots all there in a row. And just really wild, strange stuff, which is exactly what we have come to love and appreciate about Steve's comics. We do kind of miss the Buttercube Brothers. You know that? The
Yeah,
back
Buttercube
cover's
Brothers
cool.
on the back page, like the
Milo's Quest. This one's funny about a guy chasing his tail.
yeah.
With Sebastian Cabot, of course, watching on.
Well, there goes the guy chasing his tail again.
Yeah, chasing his tail.
Yep.
Well,
Well, if you are a Sebastian Cabot fan, like Steve and I are, you will want to get this. You can't pay for it.
Sebastian Cabot
You
fan.
have to send the man postage or a comic book of yours to trade him for something of value. Not
And of
money,
course,
because he does not value money.
and there are the extras as well, like this here.
Yes.
Digging for clowns on the coast. Digging for clowns on the coast. So this guy's digging up clowns.
This is St. Peter Flat, Washington, Ferry County. I've fallen and I can't get up. This is a Morty comic.
There we go.
Original. I have the only one like this. Steve has the only one. The one he
That's
showed
right.
is the only one like that. Have that, and I have Morty Comics number 8,385, which right here opens up into pages that don't relate to anything, and a picture on the back that doesn't mean anything.
Which means they mean something. They mean something to us. We get it. The average person on the street,
But I
if you
have no
find
idea what they mean.
right, you won't have any clue what they mean. But we get it. And we're so thankful that he's around.
Fortunately, we have Cranium Frenzy number 32.
True.
Here.
I got this one too, though. Eating a 6-mile-long candy bar starts with a single bite. Someone's got to do it.
Is that?
6-mile-long candy bar. There you go. That's how it starts. You won't finish unless you start it. He's a freaking genius, man. But, okay.
Here's Cranium Frenzy 32. It has something to do with arms.
My cover, yeah, I got this one. Yeah, same thing. There's some arms hanging on the wall there.
Arms. So let's find out what it has to do with arms, I guess. A dining experience like no other. Right here.
Well, it starts out with a Gumby-like figure.
I forgot the name. I was trying to think of the name of that figure, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
It has a name, but I can't think of it.
I think he says it later in the issue. I think it's in there somewhere.
He does.
I remember seeing it.
They're going to a restaurant, apparently a kind of a fancy restaurant.
Wait a minute. Muki the Mutant Membrane.
The Muki Membrane, that's it.
Happily, at the end of the issue, Steve puts in a little bit about the making of this particular issue, and that's how we know, because I would have thought it was a Gumby.
So they go to eat, but Muki is not allowed in the restaurant, which is kind of prejudice.
Right, because he's a
Membranes, but he is not allowed in the restaurant.
I love the face. I love the face on the little guy, the guy at the door.
Oh yeah, he's a happy-looking fellow.
Not too happy, right?
You may notice, if you remember from a previous issue, Sebastian Cabot is having dinner at that restaurant that they're trying to get into.
Right, there he is.
There he is. Yeah.
Right there at the bottom, Sebastian is there.
He's dining there. So they let Sebastian Cabot in, but not Muki the Membrane. I don't understand that.
Oh boy.
There's a master of ceremonies at the.
He wants to see the menu.
Yeah, and you can tell he's a typical master of ceremonies with the plaid jacket and the microphone.
But it's more than that because he is, where is it? What's the name of the restaurant? Monty's Hall. It's
Yeah.
based on Monty Hall, who used to,
Monty's Hall
let's make a deal.
Yeah, and that's where this guy comes in. He is the
He's the master of ceremony. He's the host.
yeah, and you have to pick what door you want to get your food.
Right. Door number one, door number two, number three.
Number three.
Let's make a meal.
Let's make a meal.
So there it is right there. Hosted by at Monty's Hall, by apparently Monty Hall. And this guy here, the names that Steve comes up for some of his characters, this guy is Snoodle B. Clapsaddle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Snoodle
winds up picking
the meal.
Door number two he picks. See that down there? He picks door number two.
Uh-huh.
So let's see what you didn't win, Mr. Snoodle B. Clapsaddle. Let's see what he didn't win.
Yeah, that was going to be over here, I think.
2 goats. He apparently did not win the 2 goats. Looks like they won't be slaughtered on stage for your dinner tonight. He didn't pick those. So.
He also didn't win the world's largest Limburger cheese and rutabaga pizza.
He did not. You won't be consuming that. It says, nope, he didn't win that either. So, and now, drum roll, let's find out what he did win over here. It's the House of Googly Eyes is what he won.
A trip to the House of Googly Eyes.
Yeah.
Yay. So, someone in the audience tries to contest.
In the audience.
Yeah, right here. Somebody in the audience tries to contest.
Yeah.
This isn't fair or whatever. And he's quickly dispensed with.
The audience reacts over here. The cricket sound effect. That's all you can hear is crickets from the audience. They're so excited.
A dining experience like no other. In any case, the audience is screaming "Googly Eyes sacrifice." Our hero, whatever he is, Slapdoodle or whatever, it's easy to forget these names. He's kicked into another. He's kicked out of that room into another room.
He got into another room there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like he's in his long johns there.
Yeah.
Says slam of no return. So he can't get out. He's in a pool with a bunch of other guys with googly eyes. And apparently, if you win this particular prize, you go to this room and you will eventually all that will be left of you will be a floating head with googly eyes.
Floating head googly eyes, guys.
And then these arms start coming out of the walls. And he asks,
there's where the arms come in. The arms are chasing him.
Yep, flee. So he's fleeing, and one of Steve's most pronounced sound effects. Flee. That's all it takes. So there's a whole escape scene here.
Yeah.
Losing my voice. I've been talking for so long. We did another show before we did this one. We've been online. We've been doing this for like 4 hours. No kidding. We're very busy folks.
Yeah, we're very busy. We're in demand very much.
In demand. Yeah.
I can't even keep up with this. The arms are chasing them and everything else.
Well, at one point, he's hiding under the rug to get away from the flailing arms. But there's other people down there, and they don't want him down there, so they kick him out. And so totally, this is not normal stuff. I like this panel. At one point, he says, "Good thing I remember my U.S. Navy semaphore training. Maybe someone out there will see this." He's looking for help. He's got the flags there. Maybe someone will see this, and he's using these flags to signal help. If you're stuck in a Steve Willis comic, you'll be in that particular condition. You're going to want to get out.
Yeah.
You see, whatever you do, it's really hard to get out. Really hard to escape.
Yeah. Very crazy.
He does escape, but the people who actually it's not people, but he's helped to escape by some alligator.
Alligator.
So how do you think that's going to go? I just can't tell you. I'm not going to read any more of this.
No.
I don't think my voice is going in front of this. I don't want to give away the ending.
Giving away the ending, we don't want to do that. So what we do is end it. How about that?
That's Steve Willis. That's the genius of Steve Willis.
He's a wild one.
As far as I can tell, in small press comics, he's one of the top 5 greats.
Oh yeah,
I believe in small press.
Yeah.
Steve, send me money, please. But he's right up there at the top, and yeah. So always a pleasure, and he's so prolific, and we keep getting stuff.
Oh, he
so
just
I hope
keeps
that
going
never
and
stops.
going and going. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it never stops.
Yeah, me too.
My mailbox is my mailbox is very happy now because it's like 2 times a week I get something from Steve Willis.
Yeah.
Well,
Have you written
my happy mailbox.
Have you written him by any chance? Do you write?
I need to, Steve. I'm sorry, I'm slow on answering letters, but I'll get to it.
Yeah, I try to correspond with him because I just think we should. I mean, he's sending us all this.
We owe it to him. We owe it to him.
Yeah.
After all he's doing it.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have done it this time.
How long was that?
Next time, be sure and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell notification so you know when we have another episode coming up because we can only do them when we have comics. So we will see you next time.
Next time. Adios.
Adios.